finally done it. I've been kidnapped, and let me tell you, this is great. Really, this is a great kidnapping experience. We got a shovel, creepy room. Well, I should do something productive with my time before I get killed, so... Oh. Ed, Edd, and Eddy.
Ed, Edd, and Eddy. It might be my favorite Cartoon Network show of all time. I believe it's the longest running Cartoon Network show, although it might have been beaten out by Teen Titans Go. If not, then Teen Titans Go will hold the record. Like this year, like it'll beat it. Anyways, the show started in January of 1999. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to come out in like November 1998, but got delayed. There were tons of promos from 98, hyping the show up, with this one being the most interesting. Pretty much, there's a dog who doesn't appear in the show in a slightly different design to one of the characters. The show was created by Danny Antonucci, who is famous for gory animations, and the only reason he did the show was because of a dare. I feel like his style kind of makes the show more edgy, which in this case I kind of like. I would assume most people would know Ed and Eddy, much like I do, so I don't think I need to explain the most common level of stuff of the show. Hell, let me just do this real quick. Ed is the stupid but kind-hearted one. Ed, or Double D, is the smart one, who definitely has OCD. And Eddy is the quote-unquote leader of the group. They live in a cul-de-sac and try scamming kids that also live in the cul-de-sac. The other characters include Kevin, the bully, Naz, the one that all the guys have a crush on, Johnny, the weird kid, Plank, Johnny's best friend, and an absolute Chad, Rolf, the country guy, probably the best character in the series, Sarah, Ed's younger sister who yells a lot, that's pretty much her entire character, Jimmy, the youngest one I think, and hangs around the girls, and is also pretty annoying, although sometimes he's not all bad. And three more characters, but I want to save them for later. And that's pretty much the concept. They scam the kids in order to get jawbreakers.
You know, people always told me, don't take candy from strangers. But I figured I'd try it at least once. I don't know where the guy who kidnapped me is. Probably kidnapping other kids. And hey, if they get here, maybe we can throw a party.
I want to take the time to talk about the first 2 episodes of the series, just to get a genuine feel. Alright, so episode 1A, the Ed Touchables. So this episode is kinda weird, because the animation, or at least the animation style, isn't fully refined and way more stilted. The voice acting feels more amateurish. They all kinda sound like actual kids. In which, I guess this is good, but it doesn't make the voice acting, you know, good. I'd say Eddy's voice actor, Tony Sampson, has it the most down. Overall, about the episode, it's okay. A couple funny jokes here and there. But I don't know, something about it is kinda off to me, and doesn't have the best introduction to the characters. I'd say for the 3 main Eds, it's pretty good, but for the other characters besides like Johnny and maybe Sarah, it's not the greatest. Alright, episode 1B. Basically, the Eds are on this force when they get knocked out and end up in this trailer. So now, those 3 characters are better before. Well, I have to introduce them now. These are the Canker sisters, Lee, Marie, and May. Basically, these teens who simp hard for Ed and Eddy. Pretty much, this episode just involves the Eds kind of being jerks to the Canker sisters, having to then clean up, and then just kind of escape. I think this one is actually better than the previous one, though, mostly just because I think it's a lot more funny. There's also some really weird implications in this episode, though, and also other weird implications with other Canker sister episodes.
You girls know where our clothes are?
Oh, they're drying outside. You boys sure were dirty.
So yeah, I think this one is just slightly better than the last one. I don't really know why, I just kind of enjoy it more. And so that was the first full episode of the series. Honestly, not that bad, but the series would definitely improve after this episode. Alright, so let's talk about the second episode, starting with obviously 2A. Pop Goes the Ed. This episode's plot is that the Eds want to cool off, seeing as the show, well, takes place in summer. I like this gag showing the shade moving around just so the Eds get no shade. Okay, well, technically the sun would be moving, not the shade, but you get my point. Anyways, they find out that Naz is having a pool party, and they decide to go to it. They go to Eddy's house, though, first, to pull out his brother's Speedos, which is kind of funny. Eddy's brother has always been sort of a running gag, where Eddy always hypes about how cool he is. And when Eddy tries doing those things, they most of the time make him lead to embarrassment. But he keeps doing this stuff that his brother did. Anyways, all 3 of the Eds put on the Speedos and go to the party, where they just kind of annoy people and embarrass themselves. It's kind of funny how everyone pretty much just avoids them as much as possible. Alright, so they do this honestly really cool trick that the Eds don't even mess up on. But their Speedos fly off, and they had to jump in the pool to hide. Sarah and Jimmy and later Naz try getting in the pool, but to no avail. I'm surprised Sarah didn't just throw them out of the pool, instead she kind of just leaves. The Eds then have to spend the rest of the time there in the pool, and they even freeze during the night. And then they have to escape because their skin soaked up all the water. So this episode is really great. There's no contest, but this is the best episode so far. It's the most funny, feels the most relatable, and just has a pretty good plot. Alright, so the final one I want to cover. Over Your Ed, episode 2B. The episode is a simple plot of Double D and Eddy trying to doll up, if you will, Ed. He pretty much becomes a Chad. Like, he looks fine and he's the most popular kid in the cul-de-sac. He's pretty much an NPC though, and he does the same moves, says the same things, and has to read off a script originally, which is really funny to me. The Kanker sisters come out though and ruin it at the end. Like, seriously, what is their problem? I know the ads were kind of jerks to them in the other episode, but you wouldn't expect this show to have that kind of continuity. Overall, not the greatest, better than 1A, but not as good as 1B or 2A. And that was how Eddy and Eddy started. Originally, I was going to cover the first season, but I figured this would be more interesting. This show is great, though. It's funny, has great animation, good characters. I didn't even mention the theme song. Oh, the theme song is great. That whistling really gets stuck in your head. Anyways, this show would get better as it went on. And I hope to cover it sometime again.
I'm gonna go explore this room. What do you think's behind the door? Oh. Okay.